Hi, I'm Paul Gray. Come explore Alaska with us and discover the diversity of its cultures and the land of the people of the far north. We'll travel 13,000 miles of roads to more than 500,000 square miles of Alaska wilderness. From tundra to mountains, oceans, villages and towns, from art to wildlife, glaciers to thousands of miles of rivers and lakes. Alaska, a place that breeds discovery.
The water's where the flounders gather. Now, to most outsiders, that doesn't mean much, but to local folks, it means Xantakahini, the original name for Juneau. Today, it's our starting point. We're traveling 65 miles west to Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve in southeast Alaska. Glacier Bay can only be reached by boat or plane. Most people travel by cruise ship, but today, we're traveling by float plane from Air Excursion. We're flying with Mike today. The flight takes about 30 minutes. One of the most visited parks in Alaska is Glacier Bay National Park.
John Quinley. I'm the public affairs person for the National Park Service in Alaska, based in Anchorage, but familiar with all 17 areas in the National Park System in Alaska, which altogether total more than 54 million acres, which is about 2/3 of the acreage in the National Park System across the country. So we have a lot of country up here. There are so many pressures where people live in urban life that the big wild parks of Alaska offer something completely different than what home looks like. And I think that is a very renewing sort of experience for people to get out. When people come to parks in Alaska, a lot of times they don't stay very long. They're in for a day or a day and a half, and frequently they leave wishing they'd been able to spend more time. The parks are big. Glacier Bay is 3 million acres. Most people go by cruise ship and they spend about 10-12 hours in the park. They go up the bay and come back. People think of these parks as big and wild, and they are, but they're not that hard to get to. There's a lot of air transportation and boat transportation.
The park headquarters is in Bartlett Cove. After landing at the Gustavus Airport, we head out to the only lodge in Glacier Bay.
My name is Al Gonzalez. I am from Colombia. I was born in Colombia, South America. Gustavus is a small town. The residents in here is about 200 people in the winter, and it grows to 300 plus in the summer. The traffic here, the traffic jams is when you see another car coming the other way. The perfect amount of time to be here is 3 days. I think you get to see a lot of Alaska in those 3 days. We provide a full service lodge. We have 56 rooms. There's no TVs in your room. You still have a telephone there if you want to make a phone call. So you know how to cook. We got a great restaurant. You got a good meal, good atmosphere in the lobby. It's a beautiful fireplace to relax.
For your convenience, inside the lodge is the National Park Visitor Center. And the view is breathtaking.
We have a beautiful deck that sees the bay.
Get your ticket ready. We're going on a day cruise from Bartlett Cove to see the spectacular glaciers. Marine waters make up nearly 1/5 of the park, and with no point of land more than 30 miles from the coast, the terrestrial and marine environments are closely intertwined.
Well, my name is Captain Ruckman, and we're here in Glacier Bay, and I drive a boat around all day.
One thing that we've learned is that we frequently approach places like Glacier Bay as, well, humans have never been here. This is an untouched wilderness, and in fact, many features in the park have been named by the Hoonah hundreds of years ago. Evidence, that they will point to in those places of places where they used to live, where there were fish camps, where there were hunting areas, traditional places to gather berries because the berries were in rich abundance. People used that area all the time, and I think that's something that has been good for us to learn, that we're not the first folks to have been there.
My mother was Anne Charles Keener. She was a Tlingit from the Eagle moiety of the Kagwantan clan and Box House from Sitka. Her Tlingit name was Kanukhduat. My mother grew up in Glacier Bay and Hoonah. Our Tlingit families have inhabited the southeast Alaska archipelago for many hundreds of years. The original village of Hoonah Tlingits was located in what is now known as Glacier Bay. Hundreds of years ago, during the last small ice age, advancing glaciers forced them to relocate. Since the area to the south was used each summer as a subsistence harvesting camp, it was a natural place for them to settle. At first, the new settlement was referred to as Village by the Cliff, but later the name was changed to Hoonah, meaning land where the north wind doesn't blow. The Tlingits, skilled in hunting, fishing, and plant gathering, harvested the resources of the sea and the forests according to the bounty of the seasons. Operating within the laws of nature, they related to their surrounding ecosystem with respect and wisdom. For example, they utilized every part of what they took from nature that their resources would not be wasted. Their name itself spoke of what was important to them. The word Tlingit, meaning the people, distinguished them from the four-legged inhabitants they lived amongst. In Hoonah, many communal longhouses and clan houses were built where the Tlingits lived and interacted in a well-organized social structure. It was a matrilineal society, meaning the children inherited rights through their mothers. For traveling to places beyond the village, the Tlingits used the ocean as a transportation corridor. They traveled in seaworthy hand-carved canoes, some large enough to carry 40 people. In fact, these highly skilled Tlingit navigators thought nothing of paddling for days in any direction. Tlingit women were fine weavers of spruce root and grass baskets. Hide tanning, plant and berry gathering, and food preservation also occupied their time. Time was spent decorating everyday objects with sophisticated, highly stylized animal designs. This distinctive dramatic art form became a medium for the preservation of Tlingit history and culture. Up until the 1850s, fur trading was a major economic activity. When the commercial salmon industry began in this area in the late 1800s, the Hoonah Tlingits thrived because of their innate knowledge of salmon runs, the tides, weather, boat management, and navigation. From 1912 to 1953, a large fish canning and packing company located 1.5 miles north of Hoonah employed Tlingit women and children while their husbands fished. In 1944, a disastrous fire destroyed much of the town. No one perished, but homes filled with ancient, priceless objects of traditional Tlingit culture and art were lost to the flames. Today, Hoonah not only is the largest Tlingit village in Alaska, but also the largest Tlingit village in the world. In the Tlingit culture, oral history is still passed on from generation to generation. New cultural objects are made, Tlingit language is taught in the schools, and ancient songs and dances that share stories of history and relationship are still performed.
In 1879, John Muir relied on Tlingit guides when he first visited Glacier Bay, seeking glaciers, adventure, and spiritual enrichment. Muir was the first in a long line of distinguished scientists, naturalists to visit the park, perform research, and bring this remarkable area to the world's attention. Glacier Bay became a national monument in 1925 and was established as a national park and preserve in 1980. For more info about Alaska or our show, check out our website at exploringalaska.com.